Ooh boy, you do not know how hyped I am. This is also kind of like a reaction video without the reaction because holy shit. Okay. I'm just gonna be honest. I am as shocked as you, but hey, it's cool looking. Hold on, I gotta get. Like, I don't even care. You can still hear me, but still, holy shit. Holy shit. And sorry for the weird intro. My mouth is this, you know. My mouth is this as usual. But still, holy shit. And the funny thing is, I was actually going to save this for later, but technically it's clear that in celebration of this recent news, I'm just going to do this Pokemon Theory video either way, because I want to be the first to tackle something interesting. Now, for those who do not know, or literally is out of the blue of what's going on, I'll just show you the trailer. P.S. I'll send an original link down in the description below of the trailer itself if you want to watch it without editing, but that's only because I'm trying to make sure I don't get copyright. But here is the actual trailer of something super awesome that really, as you can tell, I am just happy as a clam right now. Here it is.
Let's be recording this properly. It's currently 7:07 p.m. I'm hoping to document some wild Pokemon using this strange device. Wow. It really is beautiful out here. Everything around me is blanketed in snow. Those are wild Snorunt! You see, Snorunt feed on snow and ice to survive. Whoa, look at those jumps. So energetic even though it's so cold here. And next, I'm going to try climbing up there. This place is... how do I put this? It has a mysterious air about it. I want to go just a little farther in. Is that a Pokemon? Is that a Growlithe? No, a Vulpix. No, not that either. The tip of its tail is red and swaying. I think it's turning this way. It's adorable. The white fur on top of its head and around its neck is so fluffy. Its eyes are round and yellow. What's that?
So yeah, a couple of things. First of all, yes, there is in fact a new version of Vulpix, not Vulpix, I'm acting like stupidity here, of Zorua is Zork. And by the way, if you're wondering why I am super hyped up because of that, it is because I kind of have a connection to those Pokemon. Yes, it is one of my favorite dark type Pokemons, but it's definitely more connected if you know the story about me. It's a long story. I might have to do a separate video, but really I am pumped up, and I agree that design, it's badass looking. Let's be honest. Let's go even further with that. It's not just adorable. It's badass looking. Second of all, and P.S. yes, this is my second kind of reaction towards it. Like my full extent of looking at that thing. Yeah, what do you expect? You're not going to look at a freaking, not just even Pokemon, just a wild animal and not expect to get attacked by a fucking mother. I mean, fuck's sake. But we can talk about all that later. Like, seriously, there's no doubt that, even as you can tell from the title of this video, that's not going to be the discussion we're talking about. Even though this does later trigger the reason why I'm doing this video. Because really, I just want to celebrate how badass that fucking Zorua looks. Like, no, everyone could agree that's a badass design. And the only thing I'm hoping is the way it looks, I'm hoping it's a ghost type, and hopefully we finally get our normal ghost type Pokemon, but at this point it looks like a fire. I think it is more like a dark and ice type Pokemon to be exact, but who knows. However, you'll see Noggin and all the other actual Pokemon creators talk about that. However, there is actually something else we need to talk about. And obviously, especially if you somewhat miss it, yes, that is taking place literally in another time. That, as the guy stated in that video, that device is mysterious. Even though we can technically tell that's either, well, it's any type of camera, to be honest. And judging by how the camera fall, it seems to be more of the normal recording camera, not like the one I'm using with my phone. But again, that could be debatable. But still, that is actually the subject of today's video. Because as pretty much stated in the title of the video, as you saw, it was just an update of actually now revealing what that Pokemon is. And even then, you know, beforehand, it went to something weird. Like, I'm just going to be honest. I'll just show you, and I'll explain why I say it's weird.
Even though it's so cold here. Next, I'm going to try climbing up there. This place is...
By the way, I want to point this out, but I posted this a day ago, which actually is kind of funny because that just shows how really this big thing is. The thing I posted is Pokemon trying to be like Local 58. And that's only because it reminded me a lot of analog horror. I've been seeing that a lot recently. Not with Local 58, but another two series in general, including a new one, which I might actually do a explained video on why analog horror is getting up. Because the point is, I feel like that was also like Nintendo and Game Freak trying to get onto the whole fucking analog horror thing. But as pretty much stated, including that, which back up my theory of the camera being possibly a, you know, just still a moderate, you know, version of, not like the phone, but you know what I'm talking about. The problem is, it makes no sense. And that's what the theory is today. Not about the Zorua, even though really, let's be honest, that's the real reason why people are going to watch that thing. But I think people are forgetting this takes place in a old version of the Sinnoh region. So today, I want to do a very quick special theory on possibly why on earth a camera is in the old ages. Because that makes no sense whatsoever at first glance. Because really, why would there be a camera literally in the period of Japan, in the Sojo period, if I remember correctly? I don't know how you pronounce the period age of Japan, which is kind of ironic since we all know I'm a big fan of Japan kind of things. Like, I love putting Japanese in my thing, blah, blah. But it's no doubt, it takes place way before cameras was even invented, which is saying something because that's not the only reason. And by the way, I'm not going to showcase this, but you have seen some of these reasons if you've been paying attention to the Arceus video game trailers, like the phone thing and blah blah, but I'm not going to show it because I'm a little worried of getting a little bit too much copyright thing. Even though at this point I feel like I already did something before with you know, with one of their videos, so it's fine. But anyways, back to the point. There's a lot of hints of technology in Arceus, which is strange considering that, again, this takes place in the period of Japan, where back then, which is kind of ironic, they didn't invent those things yet, because let's be real, they mostly invent more of the modern technology than you think. That's not trying to be stereotypical, but let's be honest, that's where most of our technology comes from. That's just a fact, which is a good thing. But the thing is, it makes no sense. Why would a camera, let alone general in a different time period, end up into the old region of Sinnoh? Which, by the way, I am not going to pronounce the new region's name. I'm just going to call it Sinnoh region because it is from Sinnoh region, just old-fashioned Sinnoh region, to make it much more easier for people. And at first glance, this just looked like a lot of big mystery, but looking back at it now and kind of thinking over it a little bit, and I was going to do more thinking over it over this weekend, but since it's revealed, I'm going to do it now. There actually could be answers to this. The first theory is the fact of Pokemon Diamond and Pearl, and of course the whole idea of that situation. After all, like I stated, it takes place in the Sinnoh region, which obviously does not really, gotta really make sense in some way. Sorry, I'm blabbering. You can tell I'm still hyped up. But it is very interesting to point that out because of the setting and, the ideological of Sinnoh. And, of course, there's a lot of things about Sinnoh, but the main thing about, the Sinnoh region is its major religion and its connection to the legendary Pokemon. Because unlike any other region, Sinnoh is definitely heavily divine with its sanctuary with the legendary Pokemon. I guess also Johto, but I don't really see too much of Johto. But Sinnoh, you can definitely tell there's a presence. In fact, that was technically one of the only, I guess, 2 times, or 3 if you count Hoenn, but even then, they didn't even know what freaking Groudon and Kyogre, especially if you count the manga series, what they were. And the reason why I'm making this up, because the whole ideological idea towards the Sinnoh region, especially if you've seen possibly one of my oldest Poke theories being about Garantia, it's no doubt that their religion is somewhat inspired by Christianity. And of course a bunch of other stuff. I mean, heck, even Arceus is also considered being somewhat from Egyptian thing. That's why I saw on the Bubba thing. But no doubt that obviously the whole idea is, and one of the main themings of the Sinnoh region is kind of religions, how they very much worship Arceus being the creator of the universe of their universe. Now, why am I making all this? Well, this goes into the plot of Diamond and Pearl and what this will have to do. Because remember, even the remakes aren't even just remakes, they're just HD version of the Pokemon Sword and Shield, but rips off fucking Link's Awakening HD with Clado thing. I know I'm making that joke, I'm way late to that meme joke, but let's be honest, it looks like that. But, and this will be spoilers a little bit, but in the plot of Pokemon Diamond and Pearl, Team Galactic, which are pretty much the evil corporation of, the region, they want to use Dialga and Palkia to make a whole new world without spirits. Well, technically the main boss, but they two are kind of like interesting enough, which go back to the whole theming of religion in the Sinnoh region. And it's very interesting because the thing is, Cyrus almost accomplished this by summoning he actually did summon Dialga and Palkia. Of course, if you've seen Platinum, which kind of somewhat debunks this theory a little bit, you know what happened. Hear what happened. Yeah, looking back at it now, it's not that I can kind of see why it now kind of see creepy. It didn't creep me out as a kid, but that's only because, you know, actually Garatina is kind of a good guy, but it's kind of funny because he's like, oh, I got all the control, motherfucker, to like, nope, okay, shove it hell, I guess, if it is hell, but I already did a figure on that, so blah, blah, blah. But my point is yeah, pretty much Cyrus did in fact end up in the distortion world, which kind of bumped down my theory a bit. However, it is worth noting that since, again, Legends Arceus is connected to, you know, the freaking Pokemon Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl, and technically Sinnoh, and knowing that, and we'll get to this in a bit because it also backs up to a second theory, and overall the only catalyst I can truly see without any holes, because it's messy, because we all know why they invented it, it could be possible that they might change up the story. After all, there has been hints that the Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl remakes might actually have that guaranteed Giratina jump scare, and aka have things from Platinum. So it could be possible, and possibly the best theory is Cyrus may have got out of the distortion world, and it could be highly possible that he, you know, kind of snuck out into another timeline. That's my best theory, because it's also it is worth noting that Dialga, Giratina, and Palkia are considered extraterrestrial, not extraterrestrial, but extra-dimensional Pokemon, and it is a true thing. Like, I'll showcase this in a bit. But all honesty, my theory is, if I had to do at least a guesswork theory, especially if we were to connect, due to the fact that Cyrus summoned Dialga and Palkia, which, reminder, Dialga is time, and also Palkia is space, which is 4D in astronomy. It could be possible that they messed up the current wave and certain things jumped into the future. I know I'm jumping straws here, but there's no doubt that the only answer we're going to get, if there is going to be an answer, is possibly in the remakes. However, it's not too surprising, which leads into my second theory, and possibly the only scapegoat that Game Freak is going to use for this BS. And that is going back to what I was saying about the extra-dimensional Pokemon. Now, as we all know, in Pokemon, there is a lot of pretty much questionable things. Like, heck, even freaking Duskull here is going through Spirit World, I guess. But as stated here, that Arceus and Creation Trio could be extra-dimensional because of the whole thing of the 4-dimension universe, which, by the way, is the 4D I was talking about. And apparently it says, and it makes sense because they represent that thing, which it's kind of funny because it leaves a link to it. I guess I'll just go ahead and show it in a bit. But it is a real concept, by the way. Go look it up for yourself. I'll show it off a little bit in a second. But it is confirmed to be extra-dimensional, and knowing that freaking Giratina is also extra-dimensional as he represents antimatter, it could be possible that the distortion world is just another form. And the reason we're going to, when we get to this link, is the fact of Ultra Space. Now, for those who haven't played Sun, Moon, Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, or at least haven't seen it in an anime, but let's be real, you probably know where I'm going with this. Introduced in the 7th generation was a very big reveal that admittedly Pokemon was building up until finally they probably just like had enough and just show it off anyways to just keep our mouth shut, and that is Ultra Space and the whole theory of the timeline theory. Now, if you guys know what I'm talking about, you may recall, and practically in reality, this is just reality for all video games unless the creator is, you know, constantly confirming what timeline and what's not. But when it comes to video games, as stated multiple times, video games just suck when it comes to timeline. Like, there are some games that focus on timeline, which are the better, like Zero Escape, and I guess I don't really know. No, that's the only one I could think of. And that just shows how bad it is, because, like, for example, if you guys seen Blame on George's top 15 conspiracy theories of Mario, you know, the whole theories on Mario, some for fun and You know, the final entry on that list, which by the way, the video is back up now on his channel, just unlisted by the way, is the fact that, you know, the whole Mario timeline theory. But as stated even by the game's creator, someone could be only one to make that because apparently it's unknown. And there are some other timelines as well, video game timelines that aren't explained as well. Like for example, Zelda has a very bizarre timeline. But if there is one game that everyone, including me, can say that has the most bizarre ER messed up timeline, especially when now it was dumped with oil to try, like I saw this boat and a half duct tape crap, it has to be Pokemon. Because while it does follow a consistent story and have references, at this point, it's all confusing because there's not just one timeline. There's multiple timelines. In fact, I'll send a link down in the description down below of the more recent video of trying to explain the timeline up to Pokemon Sword and Shield, which is a really good video, by the way. But even then, even the guy in that video even states that it's so sloppy, it's unconfusing. And at this point, even Pokemon Sword and Shield does not make sense. There's no way to explain that timeline, which my theory is it might be taking place in a new separate timeline. But my point is, because of that, Nintendo and Game Freak and Pokemon were like, you wanna know why it's so fucked up? Here you go, the fucking Ultra Space. Literally, I have the quick theory of all that is, I theorize that they introduced Ultra Space to literally shut the people up with timeline, because we all know how carbuncle that is. Which is actually smart in some ways, but really, dang, that's a slap in the face. Not saying it's a bad slap in the face, because it was really cool, but man, that's like, damn. Like, seriously, and we all thought the freaking Final Fantasy VII Remake was crappy. Well, actually, it probably is more crappy than this. But the point is, my theory is, knowing how Ultra Space works, is because, let's be real, I'm not joking about the whole time thing. Remember, Ultra Ruin is literally, it's not even a theory, it's just a plain fact, is the ruin abundance of the world. It's literally a post-apocalyptic future of the world because of God Lord. My point is to this theory is, I theorize, if I'm right, though it's unconfirmed if the Ultra Beasts will appear again, but let's be honest, they did appear earlier in the generation, and possibly could reappear again, but I have a theory that either way, the Ultra Beasts may have a role with that, because they have been known to collect items from their world, kind of, especially Guzzlord, since it eats its thing, and it could be possible that either way, my theory is, as you can tell from both theories, is that no doubt that it came from some sort of dimension and pretty much made a time travel hit towards the old Sinnoh. It's not, I know it's confusing, but it is just the fact that there's no doubt that time travel has to be involved. This has been confirmed even by Nintendo in a sloppy way, but really has been confirmed. And it's not like this is the first time this has happened with video games, as like I said, Final Fantasy Remake is kind of doing a more bad job than Pokemon did with that. And of course, Zero Escapes also focus on timeline, even though it's not time travel, it's just freaking shift. If you've seen Zero Escape, you know what I'm talking about. And again, it all goes back to the fourth dimension being 4D, space and time. To explain, if I'm making sure this phone is not acting crooked, to explain, space and time is the 4D dimension. And it is known for, you know, something like slower traveling thing, and you can see all here, like black holes and such and such. And it's definitely very interesting. And yes, this isn't a math term, this is actually just the 4D idea, the fourth dimension. And it is very possible that there could be ultra different dimensions and all that. Either way, the real answer is, again, time travel, which is obviously where I'm building towards, but the real question is, which version of time travel? Was it really Arceus and his his or hers child, depending on which gender you think of Arceus, doing this math, or, you know, Team Galactic, because we all know Team Galactic came in, and that leads into another bizarre theory that I even thought of during when I was thinking about this, because it leads into a very weird thing that I might actually have to make another video on. Or do you think it's just the sloppiness of the Ultra Beast in the Ultra Space? Personally, I don't care, but it's the best bet we got at this point. To me, personally, if I had to choose one, I am kind of hoping it is just Arceus, because while I do love the Ultra Beast, I feel like there's gotta be much more than just Ultra Beast to explain. Plus, also, like I said, there also is at least one hole to that, and that is we don't know if the Ultra Beast is coming back, even though, let's be honest, they probably are. There's no doubt that Nintendo might make the same mistake twice after what they did with Sword and Shield by accident. Although they probably will. Who knows? But all in all, it is something worth pointing out, and it's definitely a very confusing way, to say the least. I mean, it's a great way because, hey, we got a freaking Zorua and Zorak. I keep saying I am pumped, but it does begs the question where that camera is. And it definitely also begs the question on where we'll be going next in the Pokemon generations to come. Because even though we did literally pull back after Shield, it is worth noting, especially if you guys seen Grant's video, GP Reed's video, which I will also link in the description below. But it is confirmed that also, even though they didn't state this, but it also is confirmed that Eternius is somewhat dimensional and possibly either from space or a dimension. And he does look like an Ultra Beast. They definitely are building up to it. But as we all know, the obvious answer is they might not build up to it at all. And just like any other video game, they're not going to explain crap to us. We're just going to have to theorize it. But either way, I guess the only thing definitely to come out of this is the fact we got a fucking Zorua. And also, it feels like fucking Pokemon's trying to copycat the analog horror, especially Local 58, I guess. I don't know! Yeah, alright. But still, I gotta go be excited somewhere else. Anyways, snapping out here. Bye-bye.